Coaches, welcome back to part 2 of my series on everyday drills for your offensive linemen. Now, it's a little bit more geared towards the youth offensive lineman or middle school, but I'll tell you, we do these same exact drills with our players even at the varsity level. In part 1, if you missed it, I encourage you to check it out. I talked about everyday run drills for the offensive line, where I broke down some of my favorite things I do to build bulletproof offensive linemen. This is a topic that I really love speaking about. In fact, in the past couple of years, it's a clinic I've given at the Glazier level and many other clinics around the state. In fact, the other thing that we did that was really unique, I really encourage you to do it, is we actually got together and partnered with all of our youth coaches and put on a 3-day youth clinic for offensive linemen. On day 1, we focus a lot on the run emphasis or run fundamentals. And on day 2, we called it sets and strikes, which is where a lot of these drills come from a deep dive and a deep study we did as we transitioned our team over to independent hand strikes within the last couple of years. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through my favorite sets and strike drills for youth offensive linemen. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to Chief Pigskin for more great free content that comes out weekly. And if you want the best in premium coaching content, make sure you check out one of the memberships that's available. Let's jump over the film and get talking about everyday pass drills for your offensive linemen. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about is just learning how to throw a really good strike. And so what I would encourage your players to do is learn how to sit in a really good body position, a really good stagger, and to throw that strike. Teach those young linemen how to sit down in that chair, to have the correct stagger with their hips square, have that head and chest behind your knee, and how do I throw a strike through my lats and using my back to be powerful and having heavy hands on contact. So the first thing we do is kind of an old school punch drill, because sometimes you're going to get a straight rush where a guy gives you his chest and he rushes straight down to you. And so we always say if you can see chest, you claim chest, and you jam, grab, anchor, and you win that rep. Next thing we're going to do is a little high-low, just learning how sometimes when you throw a punch you can miss, or sometimes I have to kind of work my hands back into the frame of the body. So we'll go high-low next off of that. Then we'll go alternating corners. This is a really good drill for sometimes you have a really small surface and you have to learn how to stack my hands. Give you a visualization. And sometimes those, defensive ends or edge rushers really dip that inside shoulder and give you a really small surface. You have to learn how to stack my hands onto that body. Aim small, miss small, right? Old Patriot reference for those of you that a big movie buff. And then we'll get into some single hand stuff, like learning how to punch and strike and be heavy on contact with one hand. So we'll work single hand jabs with each hand. And if you don't have what we're using, that's fine. You could body bag and use the bags that you have in your program. You could have your players line up. You could use med balls, whatever you have. Use the tools at your discretion. Here's a great example. So now we're getting on here and we're working a redirect, right? You got to teach your players how to move, how to set, how to redirect, because defense is going to move. You don't have a med ball to throw, that's fine. Have a guy there at the angle with one of those hand shields and have him ready to kind of swipe it in or hit him with it. And so you're just really learning how to time the jam and time the hands. That's really all we're working, right? Next thing we like to do is moving the body. Teach these young kids how to kick over the line, how to get their ankle outside of their knee. So we call this the clown foot, where it's almost like the drive catch phase of the first part of the set. And so we talk a lot about the set. The first thing you have to do to win the set in 3 things. Number 1, you got to win the set. You got to get out of your stance. You can't be late out of your stance. You can't false step. You got to get out of your stance. You got to get ready to win. You got to get your head and chest behind your knee. You got to get a good clown foot. You got to get that ankle outside of the knee. And so we'll just work putting that outside foot over the line and giving them a reference point that they could look down to. Similar to the running game, which we talked about earlier. The next thing we'll do is like a drive catch or a single leg drive set. And so we're going to put that outside leg, or what we call that kick foot, and we're just going to learn and give our body that feeling of what it's like to drive and catch. We're going to drive off that inside post foot. We're going to catch off that kick foot, and we're going to stay square. And a big thing for us is we always come to balance in our drills. I want our guys to take 2, 3, 4 kicks, whatever you tell them, and I want them to finish the rep coming to balance so they could see where their weight is distributed at. right? Now you're going to be able to say if a guy really goes rocking to the outside, he's going to know he pushed that weight into his outside for his kick foot. And so if it's done correctly, these guys will literally be able to almost stop on a dime and be right there and their bodies won't move. Another big coaching point for us is we want a really quiet upper body. Let the lower body work. Our hands are in space ready to get to work. The next thing is win the set in terms of setting to the spot. A big point for us in setting to the spot is you always want to, if a guy's outside shade, you want your outside kick foot to never pass the midline of that defender or the crotch of that defender. And so what we work is just a very low tempo, low speed, work a tight shade, work a wider shade, have your guys set to an inside shade. We go inside shade, we try to work head up on these guys. And so now in a very low controlled movement, we're learning how just a short set or how we're learning to post inside and set to the spot where we're inside out and ready to dictate the rush and win the rep. The next thing we do, right after we do that individually, is we'll tell these guys, hey, you got 3 to 4 reps, line up wherever you want, go whatever tempo you want, and make these guys have to move and set to the spots in a random path, okay? And so this is kind of the same drill, but now it's just pieced all together. And so you can see us working at all 3 phases. The next thing we work is a lot of push and post variations, learning how to keep a stagger, learning to have your weight balance. We love using these PVC arches because they teach our PVC pipes because they teach our guys to have a big butt, big chest, big butt, staying square, big arch in our back. I'm showing you some of the different ways you could do it, right? If you don't want to go to Home Depot and grab some of these arches, you can do hands behind, big butt, big chest. You can do hands in front, learning how to keep the hands light in space and heavy on contact. The reason why we do this drill is because sometimes as guys set, they get real rigid and tense up top. And the moment a defender goes to club swipe or whip off those arms, their whole body weight dips and comes down with it. So we can tell by that if their hands are light in space by doing a little hand fight games here. Next thing we like to do is a little set on an angle, a little waterfall drill. Luke gets a little wide here on this one, but same thing. The principles from earlier still hold. You want to set inside out, dictate the rush. He's got to go around you or through you, but you can never give the guy a two-way go to go inside of you. So just working that set on an angle there. Transition a little bit more. Now we're working a little 2 versus 1 redirect, learning how to push and how to post, keeping our hips as square as possible through the entire rep. So get your guys moving a little bit. And the next thing is a 3 versus 1 redirect. What you're going to do is you're going to line these guys up in a line, and you're just going to tell the first guy where to go, and the second guy will go opposite. So you're working a little push, a little redirect post, and then a block of blitzing linebacker. Give that guy a nice double uppercut up through him, swallow him up to where he can't get a blitz on it. Coaches, I hope you enjoyed part 2 of my everyday drills for building bulletproof offensive linemen. Today was about sets and strikes. If you haven't seen video 1 about the run drills, I encourage you to check that out, just like I encourage you to check out Chief Pigskin. Make sure you subscribe and look at their memberships for the best and premium coaching content. And if you want to see anything more about sets and strikes, that was a very small sample, right? Brought down from an hour clinic and a whole plethora of drills we do. Feel free to reach out to me and would love to give you more drills. Have a great season.